Hey everyone, Slambo here. This is a thread response for All the World's a Stage. He asked us to show something from a band that we saw in a small venue while they were still relatively unknown, or not as strongly and not as well known as they became. So while they were still on their upward phase in fame and stardom. Um, I've got a few that I could have picked. Uh, I, as a kid, my parents took me to a lot of shows at McCabe's Guitar Shop in Santa Monica, and they have a page on their website listing every artist who has ever played in the back room at McCabe's. Uh, Going through that list, I can only remember a couple of the names on there, and one of them I know that I saw there. He was most assuredly on his way down after his peak of fame, and that was John Hartford. So that one doesn't quite count, but it was a great show, and I'm glad I got to see it. The other one that I could think of early on is Emo Phillips, the comedian. I saw him at the Palomino in Redondo Beach somewhere around 1988-ish. And I know that because I was in college at the time. And when he asked, "Is there anyone in college?" I was one of the few that raised my hand and clapped on that one. The rest of the show was really fun, and then Judy Tenuta came out with him, and they did a bit together, and then she had her own set after that as well. But the band that I'm going to go with is one that I have seen mentioned a few times, and they've become my all-time favorite rock band, and that is They Might Be Giants. I saw them in about 1986, soon after their first record came out. I saw them at the Wiltern in Los Angeles, and that's a theater that seats about 2,000-ish people, depending on how the seats are set up. It was right after their first album. The second album had not yet come out, but they were already playing tracks from that second album, so it was more than just this record that we got to hear. And I remember seeing them on stage, and it was just the two Johns up there on the stage, and there was no one else on stage with them. And at one point, they brought out a metronome and they set that down on a little table. And oh shoot, I forget which song it was on here, but one of the songs right here on this first album, they played with the metronome. And I got to listen to them again, but um, it just fit perfectly with what they were doing. And then John Flansburgh, I think, brought out a huge bass drum, one of those that's strapped on the back, just like in drum corps. Drum was probably about 5 or 6 foot diameter, and he brought it out, and he would bang on it for one of the songs. And that's another one that I just can't think of the name of, but it's on this record. Um, I can hear it going through my mind each time I think of it, but I just can't match it up with the names. But anyway, that's going to be my pick for a band that I saw on the rise. It's They Might Be Giants. I saw them at the Wiltern in mid 1980s, either 86 or 87, because I know I was still in high school at the time. So that's my pick for a band I saw on the rise. That's what I've got today. See you next time.